Alright, so in this video, let's take a look at some demand examples with logic. Okay, so following up on what we talked about on the previous video on supplies, let's take a look at this drop, base, rise area. Okay, so we have a drop in the market, it goes sideways, and then it rises dramatically. Okay, so here we're able to draw, finding out what is the last support and resistance area where the sellers kicked in and then the buyers just dominated. Okay, so we're going to take that from the body, okay, and then we're going to take it all the way down to the tail. Okay, so this is the way I would normally draw it for absolute precision, but this one, it doesn't reach all the way down here. It actually uses the bodies from this guy, okay, more or less in that zone, right? So in this, how is this one working? Notice how the first time it comes down, it doesn't really do anything because it doesn't trigger any sellers. Okay, it's too slow. But when it slams down the second time after making a probe, right, you can see that this was no higher high. This was artificial movement. So it slams down, that will generate all the sellers to come in. And it starts to gobble up the supply, the demand area from down here, and all the orders start jumping back in. Okay, so this is one example of you want to use this with logic. You know, you don't want to just hit it simply. You want to get the sellers in first for your demands to work. Okay, going forward, similar thing happens. Prices are coming down, then they go sideways, and then they rise dramatically. So same thing. It's a drop, base, rise, right? So this base again, I would draw it like this. But notice how this one. Prices never come back to it. Okay, that's fine. There's a demand there. We just want to you can keep it drawn if you'd like, or you can come back to this in the future once prices are coming down. You can look back and see, is there a level that hasn't been consumed yet, and could there still be orders today? Okay. However, going forward, markets do the same thing. They go sideways. Okay, sideways, and then bam, they jump right up really aggressively again. So where is that last seller in there? We're going to take them in. That last seller is right there. You can see that red bar there. And we'll take the bottom of this with the tail and saying that's our extreme there. Now, the first time around, what he does is the sellers do kick in. But notice the desperation of these buyers. The price cannot even reach demand. In fact, it only reaches an SNR area. Okay, you remember our discussion on that on the previous video. It's because there's so much demand that they are desperate to take in whatever prices they can get. Okay, and that causes them to move forward. Now, as this thing is moving forward, notice this at the same time. I'm going to change the color of this so you guys can see this a little bit easier. I'll make this red. How about that? Let's make it bright red. Okay, here we go. Look at this. So this movement goes up from here to here, and then goes up from here to here, and then after that, it goes up here to here. Choppy also. So you can see the rubber band man is slowing down. So now that the rubber band man is slowing down, we are aware that there's a few demand areas. There's one here, there's one down here. Well, where could it possibly come to? As prices go up here, it's almost questionable if we even made a higher high. Okay, in fact, we would say, nope, that's a probe. He didn't make a higher high. And then as he comes down, people are looking at this as, support and resistance. Buy it, buy it, buy it. Well, that's not working. Bam, crashes down on them, makes lower lows than this, and makes lower lows than this. This will activate all the sellers and including the stop losses for all the buyers. So this will turn people into the sell side. As it comes down into the sell side, these buyers that took it up very, very aggressively, that demand area starts kicking in and saying, I'll take those sellers. I'll take those sellers. Okay, so again, the first time around, he wasn't able to use them. In fact, it was so desperate it used the support and resistance area. But the next time around, he was able to get lower, and we were able to use the supply and demand area. Okay, so going further down, same thing here. We have a drop, a slight base, and then a rise. Now, remember how in one of the previous videos I talked about, if it's just a few candles, I don't like it. I like it when the base is longer, like this, and not just a few candles. Now, in this case, it looks like the base is just a few candles, but was there a lot of sellers in here? Is there a reason for them to sell that the buys kicked in and took over? Yes, because this is an SNR area. Okay, there is a lot of reason for people to sell here. It is not just 2 candles worth, but it's actually a lot of numerical orders coming in for the sell. Okay, because of the way it came down after looking like it's a buy. So now it looks like the markets are turning around and everyone's hitting the sell because of the way it came down dramatically. So we know there's a lot of sell orders in there coming in, and then these buyers just take it up dramatically. So that area can be used as our demand area. So you find that last seller. Okay, we take that last seller, more here when it starts slowing down, and then it jumps up. Okay, and we're going to contain the bottom of it as well. You can draw it as down to this body if you'd like, but I generally like to take the ones where it starts going sideways. I take the body of that and the tail at the bottom, because we're working on the demand side. Same thing on this case. He comes down here for the first time. Okay, this one has no SNR area here, right? There's a little SNR area here, but there's not any sellers here. Okay, it's just a buyer pullback. People are looking to buy again. They're not looking to sell. But if that thing starts crashing down, some might sell. Okay, some might sell. But if this gets even lower, okay, and the way things are coming more aggressively, look at how each candle gets aggressively stronger and stronger and stronger. And as it starts to make lower lows, right now you see 1, 2, 3 tails. But those 3 tails at some point were solid red colored candles before they were closed. This will make people hit the sells. Okay, thinking, oh my goodness, it's going down. Oh my goodness, it's going down. And that again will reactivate the buys with the logic that the sellers kicked in. And when the sellers kick in to our demand areas, those are the trades that have a little bit more strength and value. Okay, so there are several examples on this chart going forward, along with the one where will it come to the demand area or will it use support and resistance? And you can see that as well. Once the rubber band man slows down, you're able to get closer to your demands and your supplies as well. Okay, I hope this was useful. We'll go into the training grounds again on the next week as well.